has been a part of ISA's Biotech Information Center also from the past years. Circa BIC has been a part of ISA, and so now we're still continuing the tradition. And Circa BIC and Jerome has been working with ISA in many of our projects in the past few years. So my question is, in terms of when you're saying stakeholders not um, how do you call this? Not tired of asking the question why. We have been encountering many kinds of stakeholders. Would you have, would you know any difficulty, or which stakeholders do you think would be the very, I mean, how would you characterize each stakeholders? That what would be the best questions, because I don't want to just pinpoint any. So how would you characterize each stakeholders that we have encountered in the past?
Okay. It is one of the questions that we often encounter, and the question I've heard thrown at a
Mm,
scientist. The most
yeah.
difficult kind of stakeholder that you'd encounter is a stakeholder with a closed mind.
Okay. Uh-huh.
Uh, you
And
cannot do anything, no matter how much science, how much data, how much result, how much good the presentation is, how much compelling the data is. If
uh,
the if if the recept if the one receiving it has a closed mind, then what
yeah,
can you do? Uh,
whatever effort you do, it won't be
whatever
responsible.
useless. So
Yeah.
my consolation, my consolation in such instances is to know that at the end of the day, you can sleep with your conscience, the clear conscience that you've done everything that you could, and just hope that hopefully one day the person with a closed mind would come to a realization and consider this and have a bit more opening. So that's
Okay, thank you. Now, yes, there are two questions here at the Q&A box. So the first one is from Kshatraya Utama from Agrican in Indonesia, I think. How do you write biotech science for the general public so that they would understand? Does it have to be storytelling technique?
mhm. Okay. There are several instances wherein we have to write for the general public, but we are also told that there is no such thing as a general public, that it's very generic. But more or less, we'll have an idea who who our audience is. For example, the audience of your organization that you belong to. It might be the group following your organization, maybe farmers. So you'll be writing for that demographic. So you'll have these assumptions so that you'll be able to tailor fit your message according to what they need, so that you'd be impactful, so that you'll be effective. No, um, so does it have to be a storytelling technique? Yes, it may be one that you can use a lot of things in your arsenal. As I mentioned earlier, I am fond of having analogies, of having comparisons that the stakeholders I know can relate to. So it might be that, or it can be a story. If you want to create a video clip or a skit to be able
Mhm.
to transmit the information and just to spark the discussion, you can do that, and I'd encourage you to do so. Find what sparks their attention, their interest, because the transmission of information is just the first step. uh, there is
Mhm.
a long way to go after it. I hope I'm able to answer Siatra's question.
Yeah. That'll be good because you gave an analogy, and I think it will be more understandable to the person who asked. So the next one, I think I'll be asking two more questions. This will be from Ernie Ritual. What is the difference between SciComm and agricultural extension, please?
Okay. Um, in the past, I've worked with agricultural extensionists. So these are the people who work hand in hand on the ground with farmers.
Okay.
I don't think this is a personal opinion. I don't think that they are different, but agricultural extensionists do science communication,
Mhm.
enable
Yes.
to be able to deliver to bridge the gap between research and practice, and to help the farmers be able to understand the how of things. I
Hmm.
think agricultural extensionists are science communicators.
As well, yes. Okay. And the last one for this session would be from Nippon Lamsupasit, so our colleague from Thailand. Which method should be used with consumers? And then for policymakers also. Do you
Mhm.
think, which method do you think would be effective for the consumers and the policymakers?
Okay. Thank you very much, Nippon. Um, what we do is to have different products available um, for these people, for different groups of our stakeholders. So for consumers, it's like you have a set of information, and you're just finding an angle that would be most relatable to them. So for
Mhm.
example, if I'm a consumer, I wouldn't care much about how it is being planted, or about the farming practices related to it, but I'll be concerned about the safety, about the price of the product. So that is
Mm.
the angle that I'll be looking at. For the policymakers, these policymakers are busy people, and
Mhm.
they prefer probably short ones, and just to be able to make it to their schedule. So probably a long video clip wouldn't be the best way, but perhaps a policy brief would be ideal.
Okay. Yeah,
There.
I think so too. I guess we still have 3 more minutes. Let me have another question. This is from Alexander Magmanwa. Is it needed to give updates or information for every step of your research for the comfort of the stakeholders? To be more transparent on your research, would that be advisable?
Um, it depends on the strategy of the developers, but I am sure that these developers would release it when it is needed. No?
Mhm.
Um, they won't. They are part of a good of an environment that encourages discussion. So I don't think they would not release information when they can release it. So I think when they are able and ready, and
They will.
they have proven it to be uh,
Conclusive. Yeah.
you read
Yeah.
my mind, Mamola. To be conclusive, they will share it at the time that they are sure of it. Uh,
Okay. Yeah. Okay, I still have 1 minute. This is from Malu. Jenny Panopio and Arnel Di Malao. Your questions will be responded to by Jerome by typing the answers after his session. But let me tackle this one from Malu Agbagala. Would you agree that it would be difficult to really make the public understand or accept GMOs because their decisions would often be based on emotions, while the regulators believe in science or informed decisions? What do you think? Do you
o-
agree?
okay. Um, I'm answering this from experience.
Mhm.
Um, when we go out and do public briefings, we bring the experts there, as I mentioned earlier, and they explain it. And the usual next question would be, uh, where are the seeds? So there, I think the public would be a bit more ready, appreciative once that they understand it fully and they know that they can trust the source. I
Mhm.
think they'd be more accepting. Uh, and I think this is the beauty of going to them and explaining it to them upfront. So there,
Yeah.
I understand that there are other groups uh, that is making it a bit more challenging for us, but at least for those who are coming to us, um, uh, it's a bit more positive than
Mhm.
expected. I'm also surprised that they did that ready. Um, I like to connect it with Miss Jenny's question, how different
Okay, go
biotech
ahead.
with the usual science, because biotech has this biotech communication is in the area there that is more much more complex because you consider this and that. So you'd have to be more careful, and I think um, a bit of more patient. You have to be a bit more patient, but I guess you just have to be lay it down and see and be assuring that this is science, these are facts, and
Okay.
we leave it to them to decide once we have given them an informed you have informed them of their choices properly.
Okay. Well, with that, I'd like to thank Jerome Barradas for this wonderful presentation and answering of the questions. Let's give him a warm virtual applause. Thank you, Jerome.